I just became an opera buff by mistake or by happenstance in Richmond, Virginia in 1940s or 30s. I didn't talk to my friends about it because I didn't want them to know how little my family was, you know. I was having a bad enough time liking ballet, but opera, I don't know, you know. We would go to concerts. We would hear Roland Hayes and Paul Robeson and Marian Anderson. And she had this wonderful voice, and she was beautiful, and she was stately, and she was my queen. She was my secret queen, Marian Anderson. And then I heard my mother talking about Marian Anderson snubbed by these people called the DAR, and they were going to have her concert outside, and that we all had to go and support her. And I was outraged. I was outraged. I secretly called the Constitution Hall, Constipation Hall, but I didn't tell anybody. I'll tell you now.
75,000 massed before Lincoln Memorial to hear Marian Anderson, colored contralto, make her capital debut at the Great Emancipator Shrine. Refusal of the DAR to let her use their hall fanned a countrywide controversy, with this great gathering as the climax.
We all went there, and she stood there regally. It was cold, and that was 1939, and I had such a rush. I had such a rush, because she had this voice that was like nothing I'd ever heard, like a pipe organ, and it always moved me, because she seemed to be speaking something from her soul and telling us about it. And I had a kind of a visceral reaction. I had goosebumps. She just had a direct connection with the center of the earth. And it just spilled out, pop. Marian Anderson was presented with the Spingarn Award at the NAACP convention. That was 1940. I was chosen to present her a beautiful bouquet of tiny roses. That was the first time I wore a long dress. I had an evening gown, and our neighbors made it for me. Well, fast forward a few years, shall we? Everybody was all aglow in Richmond. The phones were ringing. Marian Anderson, my queen, was going to sing at the Metropolitan Opera Company and in the big house in New York. And we got tickets, and we were going. And we were there, and there she was in that opera, The Masked Ball. I'll never forget that. She was wonderful, and we were so elated, but most of all, proud. Proud because I knew her, proud because she knew me. But recently we celebrated Marian Anderson at Constitution Hall, and they invited me to speak about that day at the concert at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial. I guess that was the only live thing they could find that had actually been there, you know.